Hello, faith leaders, and welcome to Break Time. Today, Psalm 7 says this: "Let the assembled peoples gather around you, while you sit enthroned over them on high." You know, don't you just love being with like-minded people and knowing that you're meeting together and all of you together are enthroned around the Lord? I mean, that's your purpose. Oh, what fellowship can happen when we recognize God in our midst, when we see Him in light of who He is. Something diminishes in the midst of community, doesn't it? You know, you really start focusing on what really matters in true community, where God is enthroned around His people. When we are there in His presence, when we're absorbing ourselves together as a community, something happens that's so, I want to call it a mystery. What you thought was an issue, or what you thought would be discouragement, something happens inside your heart when faith begins to grow, when you hear others' stories, when you hear about the faith testimonies of those gathered around. You begin to realize that your God is so much larger than what you went in thinking. Does that ever happen to you? It could be in the middle of a coffee shop. You start discussing God and realizing that you're in the midst of His holy presence. And together you're having community. It could be in the midst of your, at break time at work. You go on break and you take a break with a friend and you gather. It could be in the midst of course, your church building where you gather together in worship. It could be in your home. You gather in home together with like-minded believers. And the awesome thing that happens is your testimony, my testimony, and when we gather around together and we talk about those testimonies, there's a significance. Faith just begins to ignite. That your faith stories, my faith stories, we're the part of your life that's hurting and my life that's hurting. Together, collectively, we come together, sitting around the throne room of God, and lift that before Him. So much happens when we gather for those specific reasons. However, sometimes we need to be very cautious that, when we're gathering together, whether it's just over coffee, that remembering God is there. God is there. In the midst of wherever you are, there is the Lord. And recognizing that, enthroned around His throne, together, miracles can happen. Breakthroughs can occur. Your faith can grow. It's an amazing place to be, sitting around the throne room of God together. Don't neglect that beautiful thing, because God has given us this beautiful thing called relationships. And He desires for you and for me to live in relationship with those around us. Have a